The Prime Minister is refusing to bow to growing international pressure for Australia to do more to resettle the thousands of refugees fleeing persecution in Burma. Indonesia, in particular, has reminded Australia of its obligations as a signatory to the Refugee Convention. And joining us now is Immigration Minister Peter Dutton. Good morning to you, Peter. Indonesia is one of the countries who have agreed to accommodate these refugees temporarily, and their government has said that this is an issue for the international community, which we're part of. So what's the solution?
Cam, a couple of points. We already provide a lot of funding to Indonesia, both through the UNHCR and also the International Organisation on Migration. So people will be surprised to hear that Australian taxpayers, through donations to the IOM, pay for about half of the accommodation, the food, the settlement services for refugees in Indonesia already. So this has been a long-standing program. Since 2000, we've put in about $170 million otherwise. We co-chair a regional process called the Bali process within our region, along with Indonesia. So there's a lot of support already from the Australian taxpayer. We also settle on a per capita basis, probably more refugees than any other country in the world. So we do a lot, and nobody wants to see people drowning at sea, but I think we also need to recognise that Australia does pretty heavy lifting within our region.
Well, Bill Shorten has called for Tony Abbott to stop oversimplifying what is a complex issue. Doesn't the Australian government, in reality, have a responsibility just to assist in this crisis? I mean, the crisis is already there. Tony Abbott says, I don't want to encourage anyone to get on a boat. That's fair enough, but these people already need help.
Look, Cam, our experience here in Australia is that we had, during the Rudd-Gillard years, 52,000 people arriving on 820 boats, 1,200 people drowned at sea. We've been able to stop the boats, which means that we've got a huge humanitarian dividend because people aren't drowning at sea on their trek from Indonesia to Australia. It also means that we've been able to close down 13 detention centres in Australia, which is really important. Now, if we have a restart of the boats, if we get the people smugglers back into business, then we will see more deaths at sea in our region. Now, at the same time, and this is a really important point, we've been able to increase the number of refugees that we take into our country from about almost 14,000 this year, up to 18,750 in 2018. So as I say, we're doing a lot, and I don't think people quite recognise what it is that Australia's doing. I suspect Bill Shorten doesn't quite understand all of the support that we're putting into the regional network and helping people start a new life here. So we've got a lot to be proud of in Australia, but there are about 20 million people who are displaced around the world. We can help some, but we can't help everybody.